Bada bing. All right. By the way, this is take 3. The camera was cropping me, and then I got a text from Kevin before I started, and I thought, you know what? Here we go. We're starting now. Welcome everyone. Maté talk time. Now, this is a video that was released about 10 days ago, and it has popped. It has like boom, and getting a lot of really awesome response from it. As a result, I don't know if you've noticed, or those who have, we've had a massive jump when it comes to subscriber rates. And as a result, I have been getting a lot of comments from new subscribers. So if you are new to this style of format, which is called Maté Talk, and I'm going to go into very quickly because there was also our regulars, and they're like, I know you could tell me what Maté Talk's about, but for those people who are new to this kind of conversation, Maté Talk is really about, it's a moment in time, and that's what I'm trying to create here. It's one continuous roll. And the thing about the one continuous roll is that it allows for all mistakes to happen and be seen. I can't hide anything. So I have to keep my brain very much in check, keep myself really focused as to what I'm trying to do. But I guess just like life, that's the beauty of it too. The mess that is life is also the joy of it. The other thing too about it is that if we ever, and one thing that I work really hard is that I want to meet as many people as possible. So if you are new to the channel, you'll begin to see that I do enjoy traveling around the world, and I do purposely go out of my way to meet with people. I want to meet you guys. I want to see who are these people who are writing to me, putting comments. I want to actually meet you and have that human contact. So what you see here in this mess that is Maté Talk is hopefully who you'll see when you actually meet me, that it's not some other persona. Marcelo is Marcelo. So the other things about Maté Talk actually, and let me tell you one last thing. So Maté Talk is loosey-goosey, baby. This is my notes for Maté Talk. That video that I just showed you, and I purposely grabbed it, that video that I just showed you, actually, that's not true because I threw away those notes, but there's a video coming out. It was meant to come out on Sunday. I want to apologize to everybody. Religiously, I always put a video out on Wednesday night, so that's Maté Talk, and then religiously put a video out on, and see, here we go. This is part of it. So I'm actually getting a phone call from somebody. We're going to hang up on them. And I know it's somebody who's going to be a big deal. I'm going to get in trouble, but that's okay. So I was meant to release a video on Sunday for the Amber. Here's the thumbnail. This is super exciting. I'm really excited about releasing this. These, and I'm not exaggerating, these are my notes that I work towards and my editors work towards. Oh, I do have to pick that up. There's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6 notes. And we're going to hang up on that person again. They're going to get upset with me. So you can see that there's a lot of notes that I write when it comes to the constructed video. So if you're new to the channel, have a look at the playlist. I do a lot of work in all sorts of different areas. So if you want short, sharp information, the 2-minute breakdown is all for you. If you want more elaborate understanding about a particular fragrance, then I have huge lineups when it comes to things like Orto Parisi and Nasomato and other brands that I love. If you want more lineup on particular brands, I'm getting pinged now on my phone. I told you this is live Maté Talk. So whatever you're interested in looking at, in observing, in discovering when it comes to all things niche perfumery across the board. If you don't like to have one continuous roll, although one thing, I do chapter mark everything. So if you want to skip all this, you go straight to the perfumes, bada bing, you could be there. But if you want to have a conversation and then write comments based on things that are happening, then I welcome you to be part of this journey with me. Here we go. We're going to go back into it. Small drink first. So if you've got a drink, here's a chance to take a pause. And this is me looking at my notes. Okay. The last part of Maté Talk is the word itself. In Australia, mate means good friends. To call somebody your mate, it's more than just, I was about to say it's more than just a mate, it's actually a mate, it's a friend, it's a really, someone who you trust. But it's also about solidarity, because I could actually not know who you are. I'll say, g'day mate, or I'll say, excuse me mate. And in saying that word, there's a solidarity between us. We're both on equal ground to one another. So if I call you sir, automatically you're more superior than me. But by calling you a mate, we're both the same. And the second thing is that yerba mate, I'm from Argentina. So Maté is a play on the word. So the E is now accented, so it's Maté, is a herbal drink that we drink socially. You go to someone's house and they'll say to you, ¿Quieres un matecito? Would you like a little mate? Just to say, we're friends, you're coming over, we're gonna spend time together, let's share this mate. So mate talk is about, and I go back, it's about friendship, it's about us connecting. Boom, have a look at this guy. Do you like the sound effect? I love the sound effect of this particular character. And this character has always been here. So those who are, this is now for those regular Maté talk individuals, you may have seen sometimes expressions that I do where you can see that I'm thinking. I'm actually in conversation with this guy. I'm backwards and forwards trying to sort something out. Have a look at last week's Maté talk. I'll give you the time code. I'll put it here. I'm not going to tell you what happened other than I wanted to say, that's what she said. And this guy was telling me, don't keep moving forward, don't say that. And I'm actually, the performer Marcelo is going, no, it'll be funny to include that. The director was like, don't say that, keep moving forward. So you can see that struggle. Have a look at that video, it's quite funny. Even as I was editing, I'm like, that is a funny moment, just seeing that all play out. But I want to introduce you to this guy. So my children used to call this guy, or calls this guy, Director Dada. So they call me Dada, instead of Dad, it's Dada. And so we've always done shoots, actually. Look at this.
Hello, here we are on the wonderful islands of tropics of paradise. And the beach is over there, something to read in my hand over here. What we need now is somewhere we can relax and just rest for a while. Hello, the hammock. Hey boys.
Hey Roja.
Enjoying the hammock?
Yep.
Yeah.
So this guy here is an alter ego of mine. And done about 6 or 7 episodes with this particular character. One day I'll show him to you. But we always, when we go as a family, we would do these for fun. We would create these videos just to goof around. Now, conceptually, we would write these ideas down. We're like, you know, we should do this and we should do that. And the guy who's conceptually with the children doing this, with my children, it was a fun guy. He's a super nice guy. He's, you know, so friendly. But then the moment that we'd say action, then this guy would come along. And all of a sudden, the kids, what they thought was going to be a fun experience, the director saying, no, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. It's going to look perfect. It's got to be perfect. You got to do the take correctly. You got to do this right. You got to do that right. And so all of a sudden, they'd go, oh, I hate when director data comes along. So anyway, so now this is a heads up for everybody else. When you see me fighting with myself, it's this guy. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about who this guy is, but I'm going to move forward now. We have opened up, so we did the VIP hot list. Those emails have gone out. So if you had put your name on that VIP hot list, know that you would have received an email. Now, if you haven't received or haven't seen this email, it's a tailor-made special experience only for those who put their names on the hot list. This is for the France Fragrance Tour 2024. That offer is only exclusive to those on the hot list. If you missed out, you can still DM me or send me an email on this particular note, on this handle here. I can send you an email because of the huge, 5,000 new subscribers in the space of 10 days. Like, forget about it. So if you are one of those individuals, you want to know more, what does it mean? What is this exactly? Send me an email. I will send you that invite to you. That early bird offer is only valid for 10 days. So at the end of this month, the 1st of December, we are now opening it up to the rest of the community, and we will now continue to, sell the seats until we've reached our number. So we've got it is capped at 12. We only want 12 people on this trip. We've already sold some seats. So it's exciting to see that those on the VIP hot list have taken advantage of the offer. So if you'd like to be a part of that, if you like that special offer, then I would recommend you book your seat or put a holding on your seat. What's it all about? Have a look at this video. So Kevin and I, who manages the Oligarch store here in Melbourne, which is a just incredible boutique niche store that we have created a business concept in which we're taking people around the world on a fragrance tour. Here we went to Paris. We're going back to Paris and to France, sorry. We met with some huge brands, as you can tell. And then we also had an opportunity to go out to Grasse, into the south of France, and essentially the birthplace of perfumery in Europe, and experience some real moments, such as picking jasmine in the actual field itself. So if you're interested in something like this, we're doing a tour in 2024 in September. As I mentioned, we'll open that up to the rest of the community as of the 1st of December. If you're interested in knowing more about that, make sure you send me a DM with your email address. I'll send you that hot list offer, which will end at the end of this month. Okay, so just being clear, I don't want anyone crying, you know. No one gets, you know, like, why is it's not fair? Anyway, let me move on. So last week, another aspect of Maté Talk is it's a week by week experience. When I create the bigger productions, sometimes it takes me 2 to 3 weeks to bring these to life. Because there's one, research that goes into it, two, it has to be perfect. So so that amber one that I mentioned before, I wanted to release it on Sunday, but this guy, he was like, it's not good enough. It's just not at the level that it needs to be. Myself and team were working to try to get it up ready so we can go on Sunday. And it was this guy who actually stepped in and said, we're knocking it on the head. It's going to be released next week. It's going to be done. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. So anyway, it was a hard decision to accept, but in the end, it was the right decision because we wanted to look right. Anyway, so Maté Talk, as you can see, it's just like a rolling river, baby. It just sort of flows on out, and who knows where we're going to go and how we're going to move. But the beauty of that is I'm able to deal with things as they happen in real time. Last week, we were talking about many different things, and all of a sudden a conversation began to emerge between two subscribers. One who his name or his handle is Divine Frag. Divine Frag, you're awesome. I love that you are constantly writing and adding your knowledge and experience when it comes to all things perfumery. I have a rating system within the channel, and he is my 5-star general. The man or the person knows a lot about perfumery. Another gentleman jumped in under the name, I'm just kidding, we're all good. Another gentleman jumped in, or I believe it's a gentleman, but his handle is JT. And they started to have this little conversation on all things Fougere. Have a look at it. It's probably about 5 different replies as they went through that. And so I threw in my hat into the ring. I said, you know, peoples, how about if I do a bit of a Maté Talk on the subject of Fougere? And I have done some research. I have some fragrances. Let me begin. So today's all about Fougere. Write comments of stuff that you would like me to explore, and I'm more than happy to construct and share. But before we do that, we are taking a drink, and we're taking a small break. All right, firstly, what is a Fougere? So if you're brand new to niche or into this field, and you realize that things are categorized in different things, a Chypre or Gourmand, etc. So Fougere is definitely a fragrance family, and it's a collection of fragrances that share a similar nature. What does Fougere mean? It means fern. It's a French word to represent fern. And back in 1884, a gentleman by the name of Paul Paquet, well, let me say it right, because I'm getting tutored by mon prof de français, and I want to make sure that it's all said correctly. Otherwise, I actually get a voice recording, and I get the pronunciation, which I love. I love it, but Paquet, I was right. So Paul Paquet, he created the very first Fougere, and the name of it was Fougere ROYALE. Initially, it was designed in 1884, okay? It was designed for a woman. And the idea behind a Fougere was Monsieur Paquet's vision of what a fern would smell like. Now, for those who are familiar with fern, we have a beautiful, it's called the Dandenong Mountains. Ferns are everywhere, it's glorious. Fern itself doesn't have a smell. So if you were to snap that leaf and crush it, it doesn't actually have a scent. The forest has a scent. This rainforest that you're in does have a particular scent profile, but the fern itself doesn't. So it's actually an imagined, so Monsieur Paquet wanted to recreate what this fern would be like. And he interpreted in being, so if you look at it as a structure, he interpreted in being that it was aromatic green components with a hay-like earthiness to it. That was his imagination. The reason why Fougère Royale exploded back in 1884 and as a result created a genre and created a whole range of fragrances in this space is because that was the debut of the aroma chemical coumarin. He extracted it from tonka bean. For those who are familiar with tonka bean is a natural ingredient from Mother Nature. It has a nutty vanilla or vanillic sort of approach to it. But that coumarin, that extraction from that note, actually has a hay-like earthy hay-like earthy woody component to it. But it's more hay-like. So think of hay. That sort of texture to it. So Fougère Royale had that component, this lavender. So the construct was very, I guess, somewhat straightforward in that lavender aromatic in its opening. It then had a green component, and finally it settled into this hay-like earthy component to it. Huge hit. As a result, it was the men that picked up on this particular fragrance. Designed for a woman, but the boys at the time thought this is an awesome fragrance. And as a result, it birthed this whole fragrance genre, or fragrance family component, which now is huge. Dracar Noir, did I say that right? Dracar Noir is one of the classic Fougere'S in that, it's that, I mean, during the 70s, I think it was, or 80s. I mean, oh my God. Anyway, you know which one it is. This guy here was a huge hit. So that's the sort of vein. Now, what I want to do today, actually, did I cover all the things? Beep, bop, boom, boom. So it's evolved. So that original formula from Monsieur Paquet that he created has evolved a little bit, and that is that the full formula with the head or the top note, that heart note and base, is that it has a citrus lavender sort of opening. They're the sort of constituents that make this Fougère. So lavender citrus opening with a green, slightly floral heart, but not overtly floral. If anything, and I'll tell you, geranium is the one that is mainly used in that heart note. And finally, in the base, it still retains its earthy, hay-like quality with things like patchouli, obviously coumarin, the vetiver, and things of that nature. Things that are earth and, earthy-like. Okay, yeah, you get it. All right, let me move on. So, we can't do this by not talking about the OG. So this is the HOUBIGANT release of Fougère Royale, and it has been reimagined. So it's not the original, and even the brand, mind you, this nearly got lost in time. Long story, I won't go into it. But this nearly got lost. So HOUBIGANT as a brand nearly got swallowed up in just, into oblivion. And it was actually the fragrance house, Paris Monte Carlo. So Gianluca Paris, for those you know that I love this brand, I love this brand. So Gianluca Paris recognized the historical crime to see this house just vanish into the dust of memories. And they went out, the family, the Paris family, Paris Monte Carlo, yep, they went out and actually resuscitated the HOUBIGANT brand, and they re-released and re-engineered, that's the wrong word, but they reformulated, yes, that is a word, the original recipe to make it more modern for today. So the difference with this formula is it does comply to that now what is a Fougère, or known as a Fougère, which is citrus lavender, slightly green heart with a bit of florals in there, and finally into that woody. I've got it here. I'm smelling. Let me just say, I've got perfume all over me and on my chest. I'll tell you what I'm wearing. And I smell divine. I smell like Captain Fougère, the Fougère man. Monsieur Fougère. Okay. So interestingly, even though it's not noted on the official notes, I get this very clear, peppery green, almost neroli-like a bitterness in this fragrance. When it opens, it has this very peppery, very energetic, vibrant. That lavender, or that aromatic component of the lavender, is definitely there. It does dry down incredibly green. So it is in my, or to my nose, it's a very green fragrance with very clear earth-like, hay-like qualities to it. Coumarin is definitely in the base. It has to be. I mean, as I was doing the research, I'm like, if they didn't put coumarin into this fragrance, it would just be such a crime. But it is. It's in the base. And again, in the celebration of the very first time that that note was ever used in perfumery. So Royal Fougere, if you want something that is, so if you want to come into niche and you're looking for a really beautiful, complex, clean, fougere, masculine, which is now perceived as masculine, because remember this was designed for a woman, then this is the one. Okay, this is I've got a good friend of mine who I recommended to him a while back. ELYSIUM. Ooh, my monitor just turned off. Sandra, yes? Could you have a look to see if the camera's still rolling? Let me take a small break. So the only time I do a cut, as you can see, is when the camera plays up on me. So sorry about that, but we're back. Here we go. So yeah, so Fougere Royale. Fougere Royale is the one that I would recommend if you are brand new and want to really understand what is the classic Fougere, a signature scent that was created by Monsieur Perquet. So it has all the essence that was created back here in 1884, but now modernized, so it's more relevant to us today. Boom. All right, I'm gonna keep moving through and I'm gonna show you how Fougere'S have moved. The next one that I'd like to put forward to you, and I love this fragrance, SATORIAL. You know the funny thing is, I love wearing it, and it's just in today, as I was planning the research, this re-emerged. There's a few fragrances in my collection, and I sprayed it, and it's just the whole time I'm like, man, you are so beautiful. This is a glorious. Now, interestingly, it is an eau de toilette, but for me, it's like an eau de, or it performs like an eau de parfum. It has incredible staying power, projection, you know, just the overall value of this particular fragrance is phenomenal. It's by PENHALIGON'S, beautiful English brand. It's called SATORIAL, and it celebrates Savile Row and the bespoke tailors that are along there. It has that classic Fougere components to it, meaning that it has the citrus lavender in that opening. It does have, actually I wrote it down, boom, boom, boom. It does have the citrus, okay, yeah, so in this case here, it starts off with a neroli. So it has a neroli, but with a cardamom note in there. For me, the spicy cardamom component is not as pronounced. I still get a very vibrant, effervescent opening. It does have more of a woody component to it now. It then moves across to the lavender, and it's the lavender that really makes this fragrance just sing, but not lavender in its aromatic sort of that intensity, that lavender, or that highness in that aromatic component. It's really contained. It's really sophisticated. It's a very sophisticated overall fragrance, but the lavender component definitely plays that part. Then finally, in the base, there are things like oak moss and woody notes and things of that nature. For me, this is pure sophistication. I don't know why, and I think when I smell this, I think to myself, I need to put on my suit. And admittedly, this is my suiting up fragrance. If I'm going to be wearing a suit and tie, I love wearing SATORIAL. I do feel that it leans a little bit more to the cooler months, so I love wearing this as an autumn fall fragrance, very maybe early spring, definitely a winter fragrance. It's just a really impressive, and there is a sophistication to it. But as a classic Fougere, a little bit removed from here, so this is sort of aromatic and bright. Actually, I'll tell you exactly. Aromatic, woody, with slight earth components to it, hay-like. And then I sprayed it on, because I sprayed it on the card, and I got my fingers instead. Oh, it has, and this is what I did there, it has this bee wax component to it. And again, I have a beehive, and so I am very familiar with, one, the animalic component of the beehive, then the actual smell of the honey, and then there's the smell of the beeswax, 3 different scents. And this has a slight beeswax component to it. Again, in representation of Savile Row, the beeswax is the thread that they use, which is covered in a beeswax. And so the perfumer, as they've constructed this fragrance, tried to sort of capture this moment of being along Savile Road and buying your bespoke suit. One day, that would be awesome to do something like that. All right, so another great Fougere, leaning a little bit away from the classic structure of Fougere Royale. Now we're going to move a little bit more away from that, but still holding tight to the core structure, citrus aromatic, green into that woody, sort of earthy base. And I have to put forward to you ELYSIUM Parfum. This is, I know it's expensive, and I know it's expensive, but this is just really incredible. As a beautiful, masculine, gentleman's fragrance, if I said this is sophistication, this is, I don't know what is the next level above sophistication. This is just classy, refined. This is my prize. I mean, I have a library system within my work and family. This never goes out. The owner of the library does not let this baby go out. So I'm going to tell you what I'm wearing today because it's a companionship. But I find that, so actually I'll show it to you. So there is ELYSIUM cologne, the cologne, and then there's the Parfum. Now I find that this one here has similar elements to the cologne. However, the citrus is there, but I feel like the green mossiness component of it is more prevalent. When it opens up, it doesn't come in really quick with all those citrus notes, grapefruit and things of that nature, even though they are in that early construct. Interestingly, ROJA has placed musk in that opening, and maybe the musk is bringing those citruses down. The thing that people complain about this particular fragrance is that it doesn't have, for the price tag, it doesn't have like this beast mode projection. It doesn't fill a room. And for me, I agree, it does not fill a room. When I'm wearing it, for me, it's a moderate to a low, but never body. It's not a body scent. As you begin to sweat, or as I begin to sweat, I begin to move around, ELYSIUM re-emerges and continues to be present. I feel like for me, I'm getting 8 to 9 hours comfortably. It is a very refined gentleman's fragrance. It's something, I mean, it's something special. So for me, this is my summer fragrance. I love wearing it to go out or for a special occasion. Sometimes if I just feel in the mood, I want to be like Clark Kent. I don't want to be Superman. But I definitely want to be, I know who I am, and I want to just have that inner strength. I find that ELYSIUM is that very thing. It has that classic structure that we know of, which is the citrus, the lavender, the herbs. That's now in the top part of it. It does have some herbal notes like thyme and things of that nature. I'm reading my notes just to make sure that I'm saying it all right. Then there's also, as I mentioned, there is the green. That's what so interestingly, so again, the classic Fougere structure is the citrus lavender into green, into earthy hay-like. Here, ROJA Dove has moved things around when it comes to, I guess, that classic, the pyramid and how things emerge. There is galbanum, and galbanum has a green-like quality to it, but in fact, galbanum is now in the base, and it's weird because I do feel like this fragrance, it starts off very subdued when it comes to those citrus notes. I'm detecting some more of the I guess, green mossy notes in that opening, and then as it begins to dry down and emerge, I'm then getting like, and I'm saying, I don't know, I've sprayed this, what, it's been now an hour and a half as I was prepping. I'm getting like grapefruit notes now. I am getting green components to it. I am getting that mossiness of the oak moss, or those components that are there. Anyway, and the wood likes, it's really, I know there's a price tag on this guy, but to experience something divine, to experience something that is so complex and it moves and just the way it dances on skin, there's nothing like ELYSIUM Parfum, and it is a Fougere. Boom. All right, let me close this baby down. So before I close it down, actually I was meant to read this to you because I did do quite a bit of research. This is taken from the publication N. I always pronounce it Nez, but it's not Nez, it's N. I think you just dropped the, sounds like a H, I think. Anyway, I'm going to get a message from my mon prof de français. So let me read, actually I'll put it here. So Fougere, actually I'll read, but I have to lift up my glasses, excuse me. So it's an olfactory accord that features lavender, geranium, oak moss, and coumarin. So they're the key components that make the Fougere, but I already talked about that. All right, let me take this baby home. This is what I wanted to show you. So as a young man, I had a mentor, part of a large organization, and he, believe it or not, he had a rule book for working in his business. And he said to me, these are the rules and I need you to observe them. Never break the rules. There were some people who did break the rules and they were fired, unfortunately. But he said to me this, and this is a true story. He said, these are the rules, these are the rule books, you never break the rules. And then he did this. He started to bend it. He says, but they bend. And that's as much as he told me. For me, I quickly understood as a 19-year-old that I never break the rules, but I can improvise within the parameters of the rules and bend things so that I can move through and hit my objectives and, you know, do what I got to do. As a South American born person, all South Americans love bending rules. We don't follow those. We bend all the time. So for me, I had great success working for this man. I'd love to, actually, he was a great mentor to me as a young man. So now we're about to bend rules. And I'm going to show you two fragrances where they are deemed as Fougere'S, but I'm telling you, you're going to be like, nope. But according to various sources that I've read, these are deemed as Fougere'S. Number one, Rock Rose by Clive Christian. Now, what's interesting with the Rock Rose is that unlike that classic citrus lavender opening that we're familiar with, this actually opens with a kind of spicy component to it. It is, to me, super hard to pin this fragrance down, to actually say, I'm detecting this, I'm detecting that. One of the key components here, it does start, actually, did I say it's not citrus? It does. It has a bitter orange, and that bitter orange gives it the non-classical citrus that you're familiar with, grapefruit or lemons or a bergamot or something like that. It has this sweetness to it, but it's because it is a bitterness. There's a bitterness in that opening. I find that the heart of it tends to be the Rock Rose, which is labdanum. And labdanum has like actually I wrote it down here, a leathery component, a leathery, earthy component. For me, the magic in this fragrance, even though it is called Rock Rose, is the saffron in the base. You are getting a slight spicy on the dry down, a slight spicy, leathery, earthy-like component to it. So in a very loose way, it's saying it's a Fougere. Well, it's in a very loose way. It does have that citrus, it does have that green component, and it does have the earthiness, but now created through an unclassical way. The citrus, or that citrus is that bitter orange, unusual sweet, but you know, like what is going on here? I don't know it. That middle part, the green, is the labdanum or the Rock Rose, and then finally that earthy component is the saffron, but with a spicy, leathery, but a slight leather touch. Not a leather fragrance in any shape or form. If anything, it contains more. See, it's hard to define. It's just this slight sweetness. There are those aromatic. Could be like a herbal sage or green. There's the greenness of it. And that spicy, earthy, slight leathery touch. I love this fragrance. So for those who are not familiar, so you think Rock Rose and instantly some guys go, it's got rose in it. No rose. It's a whole different construct. A man can easily wear this. And yeah, look, this is, man or woman, anybody can wear this. And again, Fougere'S were designed to be for women. So if you want to try something unique, ladies, then Rock Rose. In closing, last one. Okay, now we are really grabbing this thing and we're like folding it in half, just about, not breaking it, but folding it to the smithereens. This is also by Clive Christian, and this is V Masculine. This is, and it says on the label, it's an amber Fougere. And it almost seems a bit contradictory in that Fougere'S were always, I mean, think it was first designed to be like a fern, or fern-like, meaning like in the forest and the earth and the green and all that, and yet to have it to be constructed as amber, so warm and cozy in a blanket by the fireplace. It's like, which one are you? Are you amber or are you Fougere? Now, if you want to argue whether this is a Fougere or not a Fougere, you got to take it up with the perfumer, which is none other than the rock star, Mr. Christian Provenzano. So Christian Provenzano is the perfumer for this particular fragrance, and what he's done here is that he has opened with a peppery, spicy opening. So it does have bergamot, but to my nose, I'm getting 0 on the citrus, a lot on that black pepper. Then it goes into a olibanum. I always say this badly. Olibanum. Boom, got it. So olibanum is in the heart. Olibanum is a resin. It's incense-like, but the thing about it is that it does have a spicy green component to it. So there are green elements to the olibanum. Finally, it's the vetiver. In the base is the vetiver, but it is smoky. Not campfire smoky, but there is a smokiness, a green, earthy, hay-like smokiness to it. This is the Fougere reimagined by a rockstar perfumer in a very unique, complex way. As a winter fragrance, I would strongly recommend to you the Masculine for Men. It's exceptional, as it will warm your soul. If you like vetiver, it does have a little bit of that greenness, as I mentioned, but it is so earth-like, so smoky, so deep, glorious. Bim bada boom, there it is. Fougere'S. I would love your comments. Tell me what you think. I honestly, I mean, early on when I started the channel, I said that a particular fragrance was a Fougere, and I had someone, I don't remember the person's name, and they're like, no, you're wrong, and they elaborated on why I was wrong. So I feel that people really, when it comes to the category of Fougere, there's a lot of passionate conversation on it. What I've discovered is that in its classic form, where it was first created, it's evolved dramatically into an interpretation by the perfumer as to what it is. So yeah, I feel like it's almost like I am Fougere, I will not be boxed in, and that's the sort of response. But if you want some classic stuff, then yeah, these are the ones that I would recommend to you. Last part. Let me just wrap this baby down. I mentioned to you earlier that this was or is my director, and I want you to know who this character is representing. So have a look at this guy. This is the very talented Ed Harris. He actually won a nomination for Best Supporting Actor. No, not won a nomination. He was nominated as Best Supporting Actor for The Truman Show. The character is CHRISTOF, and he's the director of The Truman Show. And he is ominous, he is all-controlling, he is the master of the scene when it comes to all things of The Truman Show, and whatever he says goes. So that's who I was and the funny thing is, as I was creating that emoji, I had to put on the hat. It was only afterwards I'm like, oh, that's CHRISTOF, just with the monocle, except that he's got, 2 round glasses. Now, what is CHRISTOF wearing? For those who haven't watched The Truman Show, I encourage you to go out and see this movie, because it's probably one of the masterpieces that is out there when it comes to cinema, and Jim Carrey is just exceptional as the titular character of Truman. So CHRISTOF, what's he wearing? And I did think long and hard on this. So when he is on the deck and he is the man controlling the whole thing, he's wearing none other than Bois de Portugal by Creed. This is now before he never read the book, The Ghost Perfumer. So for him, this was like, and mind you, let me go one more. He actually got himself the early batches of this thing. He's probably got a box full of Bois de Portugal. So he is the man on set. So he's wearing this because it commands attention. It is masculine and woody, a slight green sort of aspects to it, but at the end of the day, you know who's at the helm, and it is CHRISTOF. Then when he does the interview with the reporter talking about the show and its creation, he wanted to soften down a bit, become a little more approachable and relaxed, and so he was naturally wearing green Irish tweed. There is this beautiful lemon verbena component to it that still has the woods and still has that, that aromatic component, but they've been toned down. I'm a nice guy, you can trust me. And so he's undoubtedly wearing green Irish tweed. And then of an evening, so when, you know, he's just sort of off duty and just chilling, naturally he's wearing original vetiver because he likes the lemon, the ginger in that opening, that slight sort of greenness given by the vetiver. There's nothing heavy about this. I'm a nice guy. I'm off duty, so you can trust me. So this is what he's wearing. Then I thought, what's Truman wearing? What's he wearing when he's in this world? So prior to him knowing that something is going down, he's wearing some cheap, and I thought long and hard on this, he's wearing nothing. He's wearing some cheap cologne that his wife, pretend wife, bought him from somewhere. Let's just say it's water with a little bit of some kind of aromatic notes in there. Then when he starts to discover who he is and starts to realize that there's something going on and that he is part of something bigger than what he sees around him, he discovers Elysium. And that's what I'm wearing today. Because in those early citrus notes, because the citrus has been amped up in this particular version of it, there's that grapefruit. It's alive. There is something that invigorates you, to commands you to go out and do something of yourself. When it settles, it stays vibrant and strong. And I once did a video, have a look here, I said that this is the scent that the gods wear. And so Truman, like a god at the end of the video, at the end of the movie, where he goes off and starts to create his own future, as he steps through the door, he's wearing Elysium. Boom. And that's how I feel about it. In closing, it's like the Lord of the Rings, multiple closes. Thanos, I haven't forgotten. They've been staring at me the whole time. Look at the concentration that I've had, everybody. This is a beautiful piece of panettone. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. It smells like heaven. And this is I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce it. Actually, I'll do this. You ready? Because I did record it. And you know what? I'll stay silent. Melomocamorna. That's what it is. So this is a Greek Christmas biscuit that was recommended to me by Thanos. Live tasting right now. It smells. It's interesting because I was expecting it to smell cinnamon or, you know, something sweet, but it has a different kind of smell. All right. Greek people everywhere are not going to like me. It's okay. I like it. So I like it. It's a bit dry in the mouth. Yikes. The Greek people are like, curse you. Sorry. But let me, Thanos, thank you, my man. I appreciate that. I'm going to eat this. It's not what I thought it was going to be, because it has a smell that I'm not sure. Maybe I got it from the wrong place. Boom. So obviously they didn't do a good job. It has like a nutty smell to it. But can I tell you about, maybe the panettone is taking all my attention. So this is from, check out this place. There's a place in Melbourne called Everybody's Welcome. Don't know why, but I'm glad that they are. And they actually hand make this panettone. I was in Florence. Have a look at this photo. This particular place won Best Panettone in Italy, and it was beautiful. However, it was cake-like. And for me, fussy, it has to be a little bit more light and airy. This is incredible. I'm telling you, this thing here. So for Melbourneites, Go check it out. It's not cheap, $60. You got to be really liking panettone to actually get in there. Actually, I'm not going to. Can you see I was peeling it a piece off so I can eat it. I'm not going to eat it now. But that panettone is incredible. I really strongly recommend it. All the aspects of it, a little bit of fruit, the lightness of the actual the bread itself, the panettone itself, the sugary crust on top. Tick, 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 tick. Superb, superb. Amazing. Thanks, everyone. Tell me what your Christmas and festive sort of treats are, treatings until Christmas. I'm going to do some more. Thanos, I appreciate you doing this. I'm sorry, it didn't quite hit the mark. But I'm only being honest. I'm only being honest. You want nothing but honesty from me, I hope. See you, everyone. See you on the next Maté Talk.